The Auburn Tigers get a historic win over their arch rival. Let's talk about it on this edition of the Uptempo Podcast. Yes, sir. Good morning, Auburn family. Good morning, Uptempo gang. Dustin and Blake coming at you guys live with another edition of the Uptempo Podcast. And this might be my favorite show that we have done in a very long time. Blake, there's a lot of trolls that pop up in our live chats. They were just here last week that I don't think we're going to see today. Where they at, boss? Where they at?
Well, we went in their trap and took over their trap,
Mm.
and I don't think they're going to be making an appearance this morning. You know what, Dustin? I said last week that this was great for the state of Alabama. This was great for college basketball, where all eyes in the sport were directly on our state. 1 versus 2. Not a lot of people were giving Auburn a shot. Not a lot of people were saying that we could go into Coleman and win this basketball game. But Bruce Pearl had a pregame speech. Who's going to act like the number one team?
Hmm.
Who's going to carry themselves down the stretch like the number one team? Are you going to do it? Or are you going to let Alabama do it? We're going to find out who's number one. And we did. And we did. I can't say enough about this team, the heart, the effort. I want to point out Chris Moore got the start yesterday. CBM, we know we got a little shaken up. Now, SEMO didn't fill it up offensively, but boy, he pinned one off the glass yesterday that got me up off my seat, Dustin. And I said, hey, that right there is classic Chris Moore. That is why he's in the game, man. This team is together. They got waxed last Saturday at home, and they went on the road against Alabama yesterday, and they proved why they stayed number one in the AP poll. Can't say enough about them, man. Look, Alabama's great, y'all. I told y'all that. Alabama's great. They're solid. They're one hell of a team. But Auburn's just got that it, man. They got that it factor on them. The biggest play of the game for me, Dustin, the biggest play of the game was Tahad Pettiford with about 7:30 left. It's a 65-65 game. Tahad gets out running. He's in transition, and he pulls up at the wing. A freshman, y'all, drills a three ball. I said, hey, hold on now. So that's a freshman who wasn't given the opportunity, who was sold a dream, who couldn't get shots up, who didn't have his coach didn't bleed confidence into him. I thought that's what it was. I thought Bruce didn't bleed confidence into freshman guards, and he didn't believe in, and he sells dreams, and
That's what I was told, Blake.
that's what I don't know who said that, but we were told that. We were told that Bruce didn't breathe a lot of confidence into freshman guards. That's crazy, because I watched Tahad yesterday pull up in the biggest moment of the season and say, hey, take all three of these in the eye. Splash. If he misses that shot, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah.
If he misses, because Mark Sears and them and Youngblood, they were pulling from deep, dog. Like they got hot. But Tahad, when he hit that, I said, hey, we're cool. We're good. We're good. But it's crazy how things, you see things switch up. You see, well, I was sold a dream, but then you see this freshman, man, he took the dream and ran with it. So that's all I got, and look, there wasn't a better ending, right? There's not a better ending to a basketball game than to see Aiden Holloway come down and airball and then have a turnover and then have to go shake his former teammates' hands. And I get there's love there, and they weren't going to be mean to him and all that. But but it was bittersweet, man, to just sit there and watch that. And everybody's like, oh, why is the hate on Aiden? Yo, I don't hate Aiden Holloway as a basketball player or as a person. He's a kid, man. What I hated is how he left and what he had to say out the door. That's the thing for me. And it's squashed now. It's over. I know we play him again, but it's all dead to me. We got the lick. We went into your house. I think one thing that's crazy is I think one thing that's crazy is you showed up with Yale signs to college game day, and you lost to the team that lost to Yale. And so, do we yell at you, or I, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really weird because I really saw this on the football side of things this year, but I've always kind of given Bama fans credit for like being about the dub and kind of focusing on their team. And I've often said
Yeah,
like Auburn fans kind of play into the little brother thing with some of the stupid stuff, but that to me is little brother behavior. And you were chanting little brother, and then you get your ass beat in your own arena,
yeah,
like so.
facts.
What is it? Because I'll tell you something right now. Blake, you've seen my little brother. You know how much bigger he is than me.
Yeah,
My little brother ain't whooping my ass though. It might be a tie, but
yeah,
I'm not. But you got an older brother. You know how it is, right? Little
yeah,
brother. So if we're little brother, what does that make you? What does that make you, Aiden Holloway? I guess whatever team he's on is not going to win a game in this rivalry because he hasn't won in this rivalry yet. So he needs to figure out maybe pass the basketball a little bit, maybe share it around, maybe play some defense. When you talk about Chris Moore in those final 4 minutes of the game, it was literally Nate Oates. I always want to call him Nate Chokes because of your stupid Xbox thing. And every time you log on Xbox, it pops up his picture. Nate Oates and Bruce were kind of mismatching, right? Like it really is in my head at this point. That's his actual name. If you didn't know, Blake's username on Xbox is Nate Chokes, and it's like a funny picture of Nate like yelling. And every
yeah,
time you log on Xbox, he pops on, and I see it. It's in my head. But look, Chris Moore in those final 4 minutes, Bruce, they're mixing and matching, right? They're both subbing in guys, they're subbing in their offensive guys, they're subbing in their guys on the defensive end. So anytime Auburn was on defense, Bruce was putting in SEMO. In those final 4 minutes, Alabama did not score a field goal with Chris Moore on the floor, and he had a steal and a block. So
yeah,
he looked on his wide open shots that they left him open on. He did not look confident.
yeah,
And so, like, it looked bad. You could tell as he was coming up, like, oh boy, this is going to miss Wiley. I don't know really where that comes from because lack of confidence hasn't really been a thing for him. Usually, like, he'll hit the shot if you leave him open. So I don't know where that's coming from. I hope he gets that worked out. But defensively, man, he was locked down in the game. We had to have it. You talked about how we got beat so bad last Saturday. The biggest problem in that game was the rotation and the communication off of the ball screen on the perimeter. And first, a team in Alabama that you knew you couldn't allow that to be the case, that you had to defend the 3-point line. Auburn did it. Denver Jones, like standout player of the game. What he did offensively, especially early, like getting the team going, was great. But what he did defensively, and Bruce Pearl talked about it in the post game. I don't watch a whole lot of college basketball outside of the SEC. I just the sport of basketball and what it's turned into, that's a whole discussion for another day. So, but I don't know what all the guard play is like all around the country outside of our conference. But I haven't seen one in the SEC that's a better on-ball defender than Denver Jones. There's some good ones, but he's elite, man. And we knew that in that game yesterday that him, Miles Kelly, and Chad Baker-Mazara were going to have to do the job at the 3-point line. And you held Alabama to 19.2%. And then you shot 40% from three. So that, to me, really the key of the game, I think. And then also another thing that I think affected Alabama's ability to hit the threes they wanted to hit them on their home court was Auburn only committed 4 turnovers. So even, when you're not turning the ball over, it limits the fast break opportunities. Now Bama's not getting out and transition real quick. LeBaron coming down and whipping it to the side to whoever, Aiden or whoever, and then banging the wide open three. When you only turn the ball over 4 times, you limit that. So even if you're missing it, you're at least able to get back, set up your defense, and force them into a bad shot. And that's what happened. And Alabama played a clean game too. They only turned the ball over 7 times. And so I think that it was pretty obvious yesterday that 2 of the top 5 teams in the country were facing off on the court. I think from what I've seen this year, man, I think it's Auburn, Florida, and Alabama.
Yep.
I really think those are the top 3 teams.
Yeah.
I think Houston's very good too, but it just seems to be a little bit of a Iowa State's good too, but like we've already beat them, right? There's a little bit of a separation there, and then that kind of leads me like I talked about this yesterday on the post game for the War Report, Blake, where I'm just so excited because I don't care if Bama's 5-15 coming into this game and Auburn's 7-12 or whatever. Like beating Bama is my whole thing here. But when you sit back and look at it, you say to yourself, man, we already had a dozen quad 1 wins, and maybe this is the best one on the road versus the number 2 team in the country. And I know that we'll face Alabama again at the end of the season, last regular season game. But the chances of Auburn and Alabama both being 1 and 2 again in that are probably pretty slim. They'll both be ranked very highly still, but some losses could come, and like, will both teams just be 1 and 2? Probably not. This was a historic matchup that will be referenced. Anytime that one plays 2 in the future, they're going to have to come back to this time as a time that it happened, and you got the dub, and you pulled it out. And shout out to our guy Graham who watches the show. He put out a great tweet yesterday where he said, over the last 5 to 6 years, no matter the sport, it feels like Auburn loses these big moment games, the all eyes on you games, and you didn't yesterday. And we all knew that Bama was going to make a little run, even though Auburn was kind of up the whole game. My whole question was when they make that run and it becomes a tight game again, are you able to then go on your run, or are you going to choke it away? And like we've seen this team do almost every single time this season, they were able to lock in. Bruce Pearl told him in that timeout, he said, where'd the defensive effort go? He asked him, he said, where did it go? It's about effort. And you saw from that point on, they picked it up, and you got the stops you needed. And then Janai was big down the stretch, getting the buckets that he's capable of. They couldn't stop him. So, yeah, man, just a great game. And it's always nice to beat those clowns, dude.
One thing about SEMO, y'all, Dustin was talking about those last 4 minutes. I saw the stat last night. SEMO was plus 17.
Yeah.
SEMO was plus 17. And it's going to go under the radar that he was plus 17. It's going to go under the radar because he didn't fill it up offensively. And at one point last night, I tweeted, hey, brother, stop shooting. I don't care that you're wide open. Dribble that thing, put it on the floor, and go to the rim. Stop shooting. I love your defensive effort, though. I love what you do on defense. I just don't need you shooting. But you got your swagger back on D. You found yourself. You played one of the biggest games of the year for us last night. Chad Baker-Mazara struggled. He's been struggling the last couple times out. He's had some tough goes. Last night, he showed up. And you had to have him. This was a guy you had to have make shots for you yesterday. You had to have that physicality that he brings. One point I want to make about Chad Baker. Did Youngblood foul him? Was he pushing him out? Yes, he was. Did CBM throw the open hand? Yes, he did. Was it a foul on Youngblood? Could have been called. Should have been called. Let's just ease up, man. Like, we're up in that moment. Don't make it closer than what it's got to be. I don't care what happened, y'all. Just, when you have a microscope on you at all times, they're going to find any little thing to nitpick and call on you. You didn't even have to go to the monitor to review it. As soon as you saw it, I was like, oh, it's flagrant. He's out. He's done. Because they're not going to let it slide with CBM. Even Nate Chokes even had something to say about it in the pregame. Like his presser during the week, he was like, CBM, if he does something like that, it's losing basketball. I teach my team, don't try to make losing basketball plays. It could have cost us the game, make Auburn great again, but it didn't. Thank God. But I just wanted to point that just everybody just stay within yourself, man. That's my only thing with Chad Baker is I love CBM, man, on this basketball team. But just keep your composure there. Stay within yourself. Stay within yourself. If Youngblood pushes you down, get up and get back on D. It don't have to be like that. But I tell you this. I made a point last week about LeBaron filing. And if he would have come to Auburn, it would have been GG's in the chat. You wouldn't have had to play the tournament. Like
Yeah, he can hoop.
it wouldn't there would have been no reason to play the tournament, y'all. If he was in an Auburn uniform, it would be GG's in the chat. Give us the trophy. We're cutting down the nets to one shining moment. And I thought Denver Jones would have success on Mark Sears, that he would make life difficult on Mark Sears to get to the bucket, do the little throwback of the head to draw the fouls and all that. Y'all, Mark Sears could not stay with Denver Jones. Denver Jones locked him up yesterday. What did Mark Sears shoot from three? Two for 11?
Yeah, I got it right here. Give me just a second to get to it. On the team stats, let's go to the box
shot.
score. Sears was he shot 4 for 17 from the field. He was 2 for 11 from the 3-point line. He had 8 points at the stripe. 8 of his 18 came from free throws and Pat Adams' crew.
And let me tell y'all something. One of those threes was a logo 3. And you want to know why? Because Auburn has length at guard now, y'all. Auburn has length at guard to defend. Denver Jones, 6'4". Miles Kelly, 2 guard, plus defender, 6'6". Makes life difficult. And my point with LeBaron is LeBaron, in my opinion, should have been getting Mark Sears' minutes. LeBaron, 6'3", 6'4". He's a better ball handler than Mark Sears. He can get to the rim a little bit better, in my opinion. LeBaron fouling was the play yesterday. And he only had, I think, 22 minutes. Mark Sears, he just couldn't stay with Denver, man. Denver locked him up. And I think Denver knew that, and that's why he had a little swagger about him. He had a little confidence. You saw the All right. By the way, whoever took that one picture, that was one of the coldest pictures in Auburn basketball history. Denver, that was a great shot. But it's no disrespect to Zep Jasper. It's no disrespect to Wendell Green Jr. They were great players for Auburn. Love them to death. Glad they come to Auburn. Glad they were a part of what Bruce Pearl has created. But when you don't have the length at guard, you're not going far. It's just not going to happen, y'all. It's not. And I try to tell my people, the people I talk basketball with, why did Alabama, my boys, man, I love them to death, but they're big Alabama fans. Why did Alabama get swallowed up by UConn? Because UConn had length, man. They're 6'5", 6'6", all over every guy at guard. Like, there's length there. It made life difficult. And when Alabama's not hitting their shots, it makes it even more difficult. And that's what happened yesterday. Alabama didn't hit their wide open shots, and it made life even more difficult on their guards. Youngblood having to step out. 5 feet past the 3-point arc to hit a 3. Sears, the same thing. Auburn's defense is elite, man. The defense is going to play in March. Like I said, I love those 2 guys that played at Auburn. But when you go back and watch games from those years, what were people doing to Auburn? What were people doing to Wendell Green when he come across half court? They were blitzing him, son, and they were getting right. They were trapping right at the timeline, brother. They were making him trap. He had to give up the ball. All right. He couldn't fight through the trap. He couldn't dribble out. Look at Tahad. Man, come on. Tahad's a ball handler. He's a playmaker. Denver Jones, I just can't say enough about what he did offensively. Big shot after big shot. Got to be one of the biggest portal additions that Bruce has ever had.
Oh yeah.
Got to be. Got to be one of the biggest he's ever had, man. Miles Kelly, a sniper, a guy that can get in there and rebound. I think that's one of my most impressive things about him is he's a guard, man. He's a two guard. He gets in the paint and he's aggressive for rebounds, and he plays solid defense, but he's also a sniper behind the arc, and he can also drive the lane. I'm just super impressed with this basketball team. I couldn't be more happy. Like you said with Graham, this kind of takes the sting away from all those football losses. And, it takes the sting away of Yale and all eyes were on us and we go get the dub. Y'all, this was bigger, in my opinion. This was a bigger win than the SEC tournament win last year.
Mm.
To me, yesterday was bigger than anything we did in the SEC tournament last year. Winning that championship was cool, but yesterday, when the whole sport was watching you, you showed out, and you went into their house. When before the game, before starting lineups, they were saying F Auburn, little brother, screw you. They were throwing stuff on the court, dog, ruining their own momentum, throwing things on the court. Their head coach had to go to the mic and say, hey, stop throwing stuff on the court. This was bigger than anything last night. Massive win. I love it, dude. Like, they can say whatever they want to about us doing the Crimson Crane on the Alabama A, but I tell you, my favorite thing was the picture of the team in the locker room, belt to ass, the Belt Boys, Miles and Janai on IG Live, and Tahad telling him to put his hands behind his back, and he was spanking him on the floor. And then they took the picture, and Tahad had the belt around his neck, belt to ass in your crib, walked in your trap, took over your trap. That was it for me, Dustin.
Yeah,
I slept good last night.
Yeah, I did too, buddy. I did too, because right after that, Team USA said, hey, you want to boo the anthem? Get you a little bit of this smoke, Canada.
Hey, got hit with tariffs and got hit with hands. All right.
Yesterday was a good day, man. It really was.
3 fights in 10 seconds. Team USA said, hey, come get these paws, cuz.
It was I wish you could have been in my house, bro, because you know how big of Lightning fans we are.
Yeah.
The first guy that fought is a Lightning guy. I got his jersey. I put the post on Twitter today. I was like, I literally got the Canadian guy jersey hanging in the closet. That's my boy. And he was fighting a Panther, which is the rival.
Yeah.
So it's a total mind, because I'm like, I really want America to win for national pride here. That's my boy. And I actually hate the guy. But yeah, bro, that was very entertaining. Shout out to the NHL, man, absolutely stomping out the NBA this weekend. I didn't even know until this morning that it was a dunk contest was last night and all that kind of stuff. So y'all be sure to tune in, man, next weekend for the championship game. I think it's going to end up being a rematch, Canada versus America in that Four Nations face-off. USA, baby, had to throw that in.
Yeah, it was electric stuff, man. And one thing about the NBA that I'll say real quick is, you want to know how I know your sport is dying? And it might officially be dead. I mean, I think that's why the Luka thing to the Lakers happened, is because I think the NBA was trying to reel off something to get people interested again. And they were like, hey, look, let's try to get LeBron another chip at 40. And what can we do? We can send Luka to the Lakers. And then when LeBron retires, the Lakers will still have their superstar. And maybe it can get people interested again. But I know how your sport is dead is when you keep having to pull a G League player up into the dunk contest and he keeps winning the dunk contest, your sport's dead, dog. Your sport's dead. You keep that's basically like having a side piece, all right? And all year you want to be with your main piece, But then that one weekend, you keep telling the side piece, "Hey, babe, we're gonna go on a vacation this week. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna travel somewhere, and nobody's gonna know. Okay, that's how they treat Mac McClung. Is
Yeah.
he's a side piece. You only use him when you need him. So come on up. Let's go take a vacation this
He win it
weekend."
yesterday? Is that who won the dunk
Yeah, he
contest?
won it. He jumped over
Okay.
a Kia to win it.
I remember when I wanted him to come to Auburn.
Yeah,
One
yep.
guy I don't want to overlook is Chaney, bro. Like just a quiet 14. Very solid defensively in the post again. I absolutely I agree with you. Tahad's shot was massive. I thought Chaney had a big one late in the game at the mid range, right there in front of the free throw line. When Alabama was kind of going on their run, Chaney seems to me to be that guy, man. When the game gets a little crazy, gets a little out of hand, he always seems to make the right play in that moment. Like he's always a steady hand. Just I'll get you a bucket. I'll get you a bucket. I'll get you a stop. I'll get you a rebound, and we'll get back in this ball game. So his development, man, it's just been great to see, and just another team effort. I saw Brett said in the comments, 6 players with double digits. Like that's how Auburn's going to win. And if you go on the road to face this Alabama team and you only turn the ball over 4 times, like pretty solid. Now, free throws. Got to be better at the stripe, boys. We got to be better at the stripe. Luckily, Alabama struggled there as well. I want to get to some of these comments. Daryl says, y'all should start the show with a snippet of Walking Your Trap, Take Over. Rest in peace, Bankroll Fesh, playing for the Bama fans in attendance. Daryl, they pop us for music that we make. Like we've got copyrighted for music that Mike G has made, and then we've got a copyright strike for it. So I don't know if we got the cash flow to buy the copyrights to Walk in Your Trap, Take Over Your Trap. But yeah, man, we absolutely did. And it now, as Michael asked, Dustin, you got that broom ready. You better believe, Michael. You better believe that I will be on here with a broom if we finish the deal. Because hey, as good as yesterday is, and we're gonna talk this talk and let it be. Got another round. Gonna have to get in the ring with them again. Yep. And you're gonna, and they got us last year 2-0, so you got to return the favor this year. But Blake, I said this last week. And the way that I think Florida is a bad matchup for Auburn, I think we're a bad matchup for Bama. Like Alabama's a really good team, but I just think strength and weaknesses type thing. I think we match up well with them.
No doubt, we do. The guard thing, like
so that's it.
It plays, man. It plays like you. It's something you can't avoid. It's truly something you can't avoid. If you don't follow Blake on the book,
said if you don't follow Blake on the book, that being the old Facebook, yesterday was gold gumps all in their fields. Yeah, apparently. Look, I don't have a Facebook. I've heard that's where all the gumps like to really meet up and share their thoughts. For the first time ever yesterday, Blake, because if Auburn gets a commitment from like a 4-star linebacker in football that wasn't even considering Bama, or Bama didn't even want, or something, anything like that, there's still 5 gumps under my post going, sorry ass 4-star, 4-star you. Every post I make about Auburn, here these jackasses are. Crickets yesterday. Crickets. But apparently you were giving them the business over there on the book.
You want to know why? You want to know why? It's things like you say about, you share something about Auburn getting a recruit. They attack you. Oh, well, look at the school list that it come down to. It was between Georgia Tech, Auburn, let's just say Memphis, and whoever. And I'm like, who cares, man? Like, why are you following an Auburn post? Whatever.
Right.
But then like I get people who they post on my stuff and they're like, oh, y'all lost to Florida, Aiden Holloway's showing out. Aiden Holloway's doing his thing. Blake, you said he sucked. Yada yada yada. All right. So I get on there and it's some friendly banter, some people that they always talk trash when things are going good for Alabama. But yesterday I could not find them. So I tagged them and I said, hey, where are you at? I hadn't heard a single word out of you all day long. Now you want to talk shit when things are going good. So we're going to talk shit when things are going bad. Okay. So you gotta come see me. When you lose, you still gotta stand in the paint, dog. Because after the Iron Bowl on Thanksgiving weekend, you got us in Tuscaloosa. I was still standing in the paint saying, "Hey, I'm here. I still love my Auburn Tigers." And I had folks message me, "Dog, I'm with my mom right now. I'm with dog, I'm out to dinner with my wife right now." So hold on now, hold on. The biggest game of the year, 1-2, and you're out to dinner, or you're here, or you're there. Dog, I'm locked in front of my television. This is
Because they're
one
really
verse two.
not, Blake. Every Bama fan in my family
Come
does
on,
this with all the sports outside of football. They all do this. They
come on.
won't lie to me and say I didn't watch the football game because they know that's just a complete horseshit. But whether it be basketball or baseball or whatever, they could beat us in tennis. And my cousins are going to message me and say, "Roll Tide, 4 sets
Yeah,
to 3. Screw Bama, you stupid Barner." But boy, if we beat them 1-2 in basketball, come on, dog. I don't watch basketball. Yeah,
yeah.
man, y'all so disingenuous and
It's,
full of shit.
it's
Every
like
one of y'all, bro.
they share the wheelchair basketball score,
Right.
or the hockey score, and they're like, "Oh, Barners can't keep up, little brother energy." But then
Yeah.
when it gets real on the hardwood, and we walk into your place and wax you, there ain't nothing to be said. It's I get told that I'm classless, and I'm rude, and I'm mean, and all this, and I talk trash about Alabama. And hey, let me tell y'all something. If the score was switched up, Brett knows, he follows me. They would have been on my ass yesterday. They would have been all on
Right.
me saying, "Oh, Blake, where was Auburn at? Little bro energy. Y'all suck. Y'all never be Alabama." But when Auburn wins, you don't want to come out the hole. You don't want to get in the paint. It ain't no fun when the Rabbits got the gun. Ronnie Pillsaps,
Where
he
you at,
won't make an
Ronnie?
appearance.
Where
He
you
will
at,
not make
Ronnie?
an appearance. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. The J.D. Davison game, 0. Yeah, I remember it. Hey, it was fun yesterday, man. That took away a lot of the sting yesterday. And
Yeah,
for
you
me,
beat
it
up.
just it meant a lot more. It meant a lot more, especially in Tuscaloosa, man. Like, they get the first crack at home, and we walked in there and we set the momentum straight out the gate. Straight out the gate, come out sniping out the gate. And my biggest thing is, like, I say this, all right. Nate has this weird obsession with the mid-range game is dead. He has this weird obsession with 3 balls or right around the rim. Y'all, if the mid-range game is dead, then why is it still in the NBA? Why does Chaney Johnson live in the mid-range? Why does Chad Baker Mazar get to the mid-range? I say this all the time. Why does the Yukon Huskies, on their 2-year run, why did they live in the mid-range? It's not dead. I don't understand the whole we shoot threes because we shoot threes at a higher clip. Y'all let them shoot threes. I'm okay with it. Hey, because you're very rarely going to get a Florida performance when a team shoots the 3 ball that much. Now they say, "Oh, well, y'all shot more threes than we did." Yeah, and yesterday, what did we get on Twitter and we were saying, "Hey, stop shooting threes, dog.
Yeah.
Stop shooting the threes a little bit." All right? Like, tone it down. We're taking some bad shots because we know Auburn can get in a rhythm where they start jacking them up. And we're like, "Hey, just go to 4, man. Just go to 4. Go to Janai. Go to Chaney. You ain't gotta force the 3 ball." I love what Auburn did yesterday, man. I love what Auburn did. It was fun.
2 points is 2 points, Blake. Mid range layup. I mean, if it's
Well,
there and you got space and you can hit the shot, hit the shot. And, Nate's he's a big analytics guy, and good for him. Like, he's a great coach. It works in this day and age in basketball. You know, that's just kind of the way the game has gone. I would say, unfortunately, But ultimately, man, I mean, if it's there, if the space is there, and we've seen Auburn several times this year, teams, it makes sense because we got guys that can knock it down from the outside, and then you have to worry about our inside presence. So that there might be a spot open at 12 feet. Hit it. We ran that play, man. We ran that play to Janai. Came down quick. We came down the court quick. He flashed. He cuts to the free throw. Boom. He hits that quick turnaround. It all happened within 4 seconds of the inbound. We ran that like we had practiced it a million times. Technically a mid-range shot. You know, it looked kind of like a floater just because of the way Janai called it and threw it all in one. But it's a mid-range shot. It's a big bucket that kind of just there was a couple of shots that were nailing the coffin, but that was one of them. And you could tell that was a set play that we've worked and that we've ran time and time again in practice. And we knew like, okay, we need a bucket. Let's call on it. Boom. And then we executed it perfectly and Janai hit it. So yeah, man, a bucket's a bucket, dude.
Watch the Hod sometimes. He doesn't care about the three. Watch him get around that free throw line, man. Watch the crossover and he'll step back right there. I mean, he'll do it. He'll get right inside the three and he'll pull up. He don't care, man. It's weird to me. Like, I mean, I'm not saying Nate's a bad coach, obviously. Like he's a great coach. Yeah. But the whole, the three ball, like if I tell you live and die by the three ball, dog, you live and die by the three ball. And let them shoot the threes because you saw yesterday, threes are low percentage shots, y'all. They're low percentage shots. And when 50% of your shots come from three, I mean,
yeah,
I'm going to let you shoot them.
You better hit them.
Yeah, hit them.
Better hit them. Bruce Pearl is all the data you need. I like that.
Yeah.
Says Pat Adams couldn't even help Bama yesterday. Blake, you're not normally the kind of guy to complain officials, but you were not too happy with yesterday. And I'll just say this, man, before I let you go. Listen, guys, it definitely looked like it was kind of a little bit biased yesterday. I don't ever expect it to not be that way when Auburn plays Alabama Alabama in any sport. But I watched a Pat Adams game a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was LSU and somebody, but it didn't involve Auburn. It didn't involve Alabama. It was a game that I normally would not get mad about. And I was furious after 10 minutes of watching it because his crew is just so ridiculous. They're so bad. Mm-hmm. It's so bad. No control of the game. You have no idea. We always use the baseball analogy. I'm okay with you being your strike zone being a little off if for 9 innings it's consistent. And I know, okay, well, this particular umpire, he's given the inside corner today. I can adjust to it and get used to it. There's no getting adjusted to what Pat Adams is doing because Pat Adams has no idea what he's doing.
Yep.
And Bama's somehow, I think it is incredible that a team that does nothing but shoot jump shots has shot over 200 more free throws on the year than Auburn. Now, I know we shoot the ball too, and we got snipers on the outside. We'll shoot our threes, but we also go down low to Chaney, Janai Broom, a lot. And it's an act of Congress sometimes for Janai to get the foul. It's like he's got to get fouled 3 times in the post before he actually gets the call. Now, you got to make the free throws or it doesn't really matter. And yesterday he struggled to do that. He acknowledged that after the game, said he will be better. But listen, dude, Pat Adams is a clown. It's absolutely ridiculous. Basketball is the hardest sport, in my opinion, to officiate because of how fast it's moving. You could be behind the play and the guy's hand comes across, the front of the ball or the front of the guy with the ball and you hit his hand and the guy's trailing, trying to catch up on the fast break the official is, and he doesn't see that because he can't. I have sympathy and an understanding for how hard it is to officiate basketball. I have none for Pat Adams. What did he say? Are they in the bonus? Man, yeah, they're in the bonus, brother, because you keep calling fouls every 30 freaking seconds. The game can get no flow at all. A Pat Adams game will have absolutely no flow. This is the worst crew I have ever seen officiate any sport. They're pathetic, man. They're pathetic. And if I was the SEC coaches in the league, all of them, I would refuse to play games with this crew on the court. They're incompetent. They're so ridiculous. They're so pathetic at their job. They have absolutely no idea what's going on. That call, they called a foul on Dylan at the basket. That's probably the worst call I've seen in a couple of years.
Yep.
I just have no clue how you even come up with that one being a foul, Blake.
Yep.
How?
Yeah, they I don't know. I know exactly which one you're talking about. Dylan went straight up. There was no contact, and they blew the whistle. That's my thing with basketball too. Is I've voiced this multiple times. Is I think some of the whistles to officials are predetermined. I also think that they wait to see if the ball goes in to call a foul sometimes. I do. I think sometimes when they're down the court, they're like, hey, I'm calling a foul here. I really believe that because there's no way some of these yesterday. Bruce even went up one time and he said, there is absolutely nothing there. There's no way that's a foul. There is no way that's a foul. And he's right. He's right. Like, come on, man. If you show the replay and we're like, man, where was the contact at? Like, there is no. Even Jay Billis at times was like, he was trying to protect Pat, but he was like, I don't know about that one. Then, y'all, there was one where they reviewed a play that happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro.
And then he got on the mic and said the play is unreviewable because it's out of the time frame.
Yeah.
What the what are we doing? Then you step back and say, yeah, Alabama will get free throws. They're in the bonus, right? Hold up. Brother, you're the head man. You're the crew chief. And you don't know that they're in the bonus? You literally have a scores table right there. And you have no idea that they're in the bonus? You're the one calling the fouls, Goofy.
Yeah, dude.
You had them in the bonus at the freaking 10-minute mark.
But they've been in the bonus. They've been in the bonus. They started the game in the bonus.
Bonus, dog. You had them there. You were trying to get them there in the second half as fast as possible, especially when you saw Auburn go up 14. We got to get Alabama in that bonus. Come on, man. Like, I'm not one to sit here and blame officials and all this, but yesterday it was bad on both sides, man. Like, there was some stuff that was called where I was like, hey, let them play. Let them go. I think even Wendell Green referenced it at one point. He was like, hey, why is this game being called like this?
Yeah, he said, call it like you called the Tennessee game.
Yeah. And he was like, come on, man. Like, this game's got to get going. Like you said, there's no flow. Anytime both teams get on a run, I feel like Pat Adams' crew finds a way to slow it all down. I feel like he finds a way to slow it all down. I tell y'all this, Auburn making Alabama play half-court offense yesterday was brilliant. It was brilliant. And you could see Bruce Pearl at times, he had to slow his team down. He would look at Denver and Tahad at times, and he would say, hey, slow it down. Slow it down. Because Auburn was wanting to get out and run at times. They were wanting to match Alabama's pace at times. That's what Auburn wants to do, right? Like that's their thing too, is Auburn wants to play free, man. They want to get out, run. They want to get out in transition, kick it, shoot it. They want to play like it. But Bruce had to control it. He said, hey, slow it down. Slow it down. You saw him on the court multiple times. Bruce would look at him and say, stop. Run the shot clock. You don't want to give Alabama those extra possessions, man. You don't want to let that team get hot. And they almost got hot. Like, hell of a game, man. 1 versus 2 couldn't be better for the state of Alabama. Like I said the other day, we got a 1 versus 2 in basketball before we got a state lottery. I mean, I think hell might be freezing over, y'all. So it's absolutely insane up here in the state of Alabama right now.
Yeah, big picture, man, for the state. Just a great day. I never thought that this would be a thing. I saw a lot of people, even from the Alabama side, acknowledging that Auburn kind of forced Bama's hand. Like,
Yep.
made that Final Four run, and you said, "Hey, we're taking basketball serious over here," and obviously Bama can't. You can't sit back and let Auburn just take over and all that. So, it's really become two great coaches, man. Nate Oates is a great coach. Obviously, we think the world of Bruce. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's only round one. And I don't want to split with them this year. I don't.
Yeah.
I think
Sweep
Auburn.
that ass.
I want to sweep that ass. I think Auburn's a better team, and I think Auburn has got the better matchup. Before we get out of here, man, y'all, please hit that thumbs up button. Sub to the channel if you haven't. We're gonna be back 7 p.m. Tuesday night because the basketball game is Wednesday at 8 this week. So looking forward to that. So we'll be back Tuesday. You guys be sure to tap in then, 7 p.m. Central Time. And Blake, I'll end with this because I've been to some games in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for multiple sports, and I have not seen Auburn win in Tuscaloosa. And every time I've walked out of one of those arenas, their fans have literally looked me in the face and told me to go to hell. So I know that there will be some pathetic, sad gump soul that is going to come and watch this today. And I just want them to hear me loud and clear, wherever you are across this great land. The best country in the world at hockey, it turns out. Wherever you are across this great land of America, hear me loud and clear. Go to hell. Go to hell. You and all your gump friends, every single one of you. Go to hell. Hammer Jammer, Yellowhammer, go to hell, Alabama. I hate each and every single one of y'all. Eagle.
And I'll end with this. Yell! Yell! Get out of here. We wax that ass. War damn eagle, baby.
All right. Well, damn. We'll see y'all Tuesday, man.